Today I was going to show you how to do a Naples style seafood chowder. So it's a very rustic Italian dish, a very hearty chowder. So let's get started. So I've got a couple of various ingredients here. I'll just go through all the ingredients with you. We're starting off with crushed garlic. I've got anchovies, which I'll be chopping up. I've just got a basic chopped onion. You don't have to worry about cutting that too finely, because it's going to be cooking out anyway. Chopped fresh parsley. Then I've got tinned whole peeled tomatoes. Now I've taken the juice and I've kept that separate, and I've taken the tomatoes and I've just squeezed the juice out. And we'll be cutting that a little bit roughly later as well. I've got local Melilaba prawns, which I've deveined. I'll show you how to do that as well. Green lip mussels, barramundi and squid. So first up, I'm going to be cutting this barramundi just to get it to size, because everything else is pretty much ready to go. I'll cut that barramundi up, I'll move on to the squid, and once I've done the anchovies and I've shown you how to do the prawns, we'll move over to the pot and we'll get that on the go. So with the barramundi, I'm just going to be cutting it into bite-sized pieces, really chunky pieces, so that it gives the soup the rustic feel that it needs. So I'm not really going to use that belly flap over there. It can be a little bit tough. It's got a bit of sinew in it. I'll just put that to the side. And the rest is done. Moving on to the squid now. For the squid, the squid's going to give the soup a little bit of character. So I'm going to cut it pineapple cut, so I'll show you how to do that. And then once the product is finished, it'll give it, it'll curl up and it'll just look awesome. So I'm just cutting it from corner to corner and 3/4 of the way through. So I'm starting with the squid directly in front of me. I'm cutting from this corner down and just not all the way through, just 3/4 at an angle, and then I'll cut from this way down at an angle again. And then once again we'll just cut that into bite-sized pieces. So that's done. The last job we'll need to do, or the second to last job, is just these anchovies. We'll just need to cut them fairly roughly. As I said before, these prawns over here, I've deveined them, so that's pretty easy. I just went and bought a really cheap pair of scissors. Small scissors are actually quite better. The larger ones are just too bulky. And I'm just getting under the shell and just cutting all the way through. Open that up and I'm just taking out that vein, and that's pretty much us. And then just giving it a quick rinse. You'll notice I've left the heads on. It's up to you whether you want to take the heads off. Again, with the shell, I think it's going to give the soup a lot of good flavour. So again, that's up to you. Right, you've noticed I've got gloves on for this. That's not for hygiene, it just makes for easy cleaning. And let's get started. Right, I'm starting off with the pot on a fairly low to medium heat. Putting in a little bit of olive oil. I'm not using extra virgin olive oil, just regular olive oil. Vegetable oil is fine as well. Putting in about 2 to 2.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. And starting off with a fairly cold pot, I'll just turn the temperature up slightly. We'll proceed to cook the garlic out until it goes a sandy brown color. At this point we add in the chopped anchovies, and you add in the anchovy oil as well. And that'll break down as you cook it. And it'll just become a pretty much anchovy and a garlic paste. We'll add the onions in now. That's 2 medium onions. We'll just give the onions a few minutes to cook. Okay, so now the onions are cooked out, so we'll add our chopped parsley. So I've got a bunch of chopped parsley, and I haven't chopped it really fine, it's pretty roughly chopped. We'll add that in. It's important you add the parsley fairly early in the recipe, because it's the flavour that you want to go through. In this dish the parsley is not really for garnish, it's more for flavour. And you'll taste it straight away. So I'll turn up the temperature again. It's got the temperature on medium. Leave that for a few minutes, and then we'll add our chopped whole peel tomatoes. So before we add the tomatoes, just noticed earlier when we had the garlic in, there was a lot of that brown fond or foundation on the bottom of the pan. The acidity of the anchovies has taken that right off, and the bottom of the pan is now clean, and all that flavour that was at the bottom is now actually through the anchovies and through the onion. So now we'll add in the 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. So we've added the chopped tomatoes. We'll cook that for another few minutes. While it's simmering now, we'll just add the tomato juice. I'll add half, and then after another few minutes I'll add the other half. So over here we've got our chowder base simmering away. That's almost ready. Next up, we've got all our seafood here ready to go with a glass of white wine to steam it off with. I've got a hot wok. It's important that the wok is really hot. I don't want to stew the seafood, I want to steam it very quickly. So what we'll do is in one motion we'll throw all the seafood in the wok with the white wine, cover it, let it steam through, and then within a matter of minutes it'll be done. So as you can see, our seafood is now steamed through, all the mussels have opened, the prawns are cooked. I've got my chowder base that I've taken off now, that's ready to go in. And while I've been doing those two, I've toasted up some sourdough and just a little bit of olive oil, and that's ready as well. So I'll turn the seafood on low now as I add the chowder base. We'll just ladle that chowder base in. As you can see, there's a little bit of liquid at the bottom here, but that's fine. Your chowder base is quite thick, and once you've added that base in and it allows to simmer a bit more, that'll even out, and that flavour of the seafood stock will go through your chowder base, finish it off. Pretty much finished, so now we'll just adjust the seasoning. Just a little bit of pepper, and some sea salt. With the anchovies, it's going to be quite salty anyway, but I do find that a little bit of sea salt just helps bring out the flavour a little bit more. So let's plate this up. So that's us. I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And she's done. So there you have it. My Naples seafood chowder. I've just got a little bit of crusty sourdough on the side of that. And actually a little bit of aioli would be fantastic with that as well. So enjoy.